Hey, welcome everybody. This is John Palmer, Dr. Speed Selling, and this is a very special Raging Verbalist number 27. What is this? 279. Wow, we're getting close to 300. It's that way it ticks away. Hey, I'm glad that you're here. And if you are new, welcome. And if you are somebody who's been here for a while, glad that you're back. Of course, hit the notification if you want to be disturbed, but always subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. Why not? And of course, Raging Verbalist, we don't waft into too much political stuff, but today we have a very exciting topic. And of course, to ply me with the questions, to interrogate me as if I was under a big light is, of course, the lovely Sandra. Sandra, welcome.
Hello, how are you doing?
Doing great. And of course, for this occasion, I've got the rose-colored glasses on.
You're ready to go.
I'm ready to go.
All right, so we're talking about the Slate EV. So, what is a Slate pickup truck?
It is the newest idea in how to build a pickup that has batteries in it. Of course, Ford built a big monstrosity, which didn't turn out so well. Chevy followed it. Dodge has just delayed theirs again. And there's really not a lot of like smaller ones. And the folks who came together and said, let's do Slate. By the way, you can go to slate.auto. Now, we don't have any kind of affiliate code, but you can just go check it out. I became aware of it because, of course, on the internet and the fact that I'm a car person, like cars, and it's a pickup reimagined that's an EV, but instead of it having lots and lots and lots of technology and doodads, it's like a very, as they want to say, and they want me to say it, I'm going to say it, blank slate. So there you go.
And who is banking it?
So Jeff Bezos of Amazon fame and a bunch of others have thought this would be a great idea. So they put up some dough, and their idea is to make it minimalistic and to make it as barren, if you will, as possible. That way they can keep the price down because price is a very important thing for the slate. And in fact, they advertise that it'll be $20,000 after federal incentives, if those incentives last, if they make it. I'm wearing the rose-colored glasses because we just had Bollinger EV just went broke, and we've had a lot of these people who've gone down the tubes. So, is this going to be another one bites the dust? Well, I've got my rose-colored glasses to give them a boost, give them a chance. Maybe they'll make it.
And what is their target market?
Well, it appears their target market is they said, look, the world needs an inexpensive EV pickup because pickups are needed, even if you're in the city. By the way, trucks are a big market, and therefore, why would not do that? Now, there's a couple of caveats to that. First off, it's like $27,500, hence the $20,000 after the $7,500 federal tax deal. It is a single cab, which means there's no like little extra seats for the kiddies and for stuff. And it's very, slab sided, very minimalistic looking. And their target market, I believe, is to try to find people who want inexpensive truck, but also wouldn't mind having an EV. And that way, you can go haul some things. Capacities aren't too bad, but they're not too crazy. Battery levels are a little low, like the standard battery is 150 miles. Downside for me, let's say I had a slate sitting out there in the driveway and I wanted to go to LAX from where I live. Well, it'd be a little bit of a hard, tough time because first off, see 150 miles, whenever you hear about an EV range and having rented now 7 different Teslas, I can tell you that the range is inherently not miles, but it's how much juice you're zapping by using the air conditioner or the heater or a lot of other things, any accessories. So now they've tried to minimize that, but still it's got air. And all I can tell you is that I would have a hard time probably getting to LAX and back without having to charge it somewhere in between. My real standard is that can I drive to Vegas without having to stop? And apparently the extended range is 240. So if you're a gambling man, which I gamble, then I would probably, say 240 miles maybe gets me to Vegas. But remember, if it says it's 112 degrees outside, probably going to have to stop somewhere like Baker and see the world's largest thermometer. Shout out to Baker, California, and which, by the way, they claim is like the gateway to to Death Valley, not desert, to Death Valley. So But anyway, you'd have price stop there and charge. So yeah, that's their target market is trying to probably go for the younger crowd, and there's lots of availability to do some customization.
And what happened to those small pickups?
Well, part of the challenge of the small pickups, as the world was going to say, hey, let's go out and buy pickups, is that first off, bigger is better. There's a whole macho thing. I can't tell you how many times I have met people who are driving, Super Duties with diesel engines and a monster truck and lifts and big old knobby tires and all that. And you know, for heaven's sakes, how do you park it at the Costco or wherever, Walmart even? I mean, you just can't find a place to park. So small pickups kind of went out of favor. There was another reason, which is they have an artificially high price associated with them. And when all the Japanese manufacturers, Toyota, Nissan, et cetera, looked at that, they said, well, maybe we shouldn't go, traipse into staying in this market. Let's go up market and start building them in the U.S. and avoid the surtax, which turned out to be what was called the chicken tax.
And what is the chicken tax?
Well, it screwed the whole market for little little trucks. The chicken tax is a tariff on chickens that were imposed on the U.S. So in response to that, we said, well, we're going to slap a tariff of 25% on small pickups. And this went in place. This is where we veer off into politics. So anybody's worried about politics, yeah, okay. 1964, Lyndon Baines Johnson, president, is now running for election because remember, he became president because JFK was assassinated. And it looked like the UAW, which was super powerful in 64, auto industry was gigantic. They were going to go out on strike. And anytime you have a strike like that, it has national implications. Growth slows, people get nervous, lots of people lose their jobs, ancillary people. So Johnson had the head of the union come in and he said, well, here's what I'm going to do for you guys. Now they were worried about Volkswagen's little shit pickup. And I mean, the slate makes it look amazing. And I say it's a little shit pickup because it was designed for Europe. And, it didn't even have a tailgate in the back. It had a side gate. I mean, come on. I mean, there's no, red-blooded Americans gonna, I mean, everybody's gonna be laughing at you. Essentially, it was a Volkswagen bus chopped, and then they put a pickup bed on it. Anyway, so to placate the unions, he put in the chicken tax, which essentially is a 25% tariff. The other minor items that he had in there, because he threw a few other things, I don't know what it was, but it was small stuff. Well, those got relieved almost immediately, but the chicken tax still remains. So if you go to import a truck from, Japan or China or Korea, it's got the chicken tax unless you build it here and all that. So little trucks kind of went away. So that was the big thing. Now, it was interesting, of course, because that points to some macro changes that happen in the economy. Now, if you're sitting there saying, well, what do I do about my market? What do I do about what I need to do? And I'm going to tell you right now, because what we do is I have something for you. And what I have for you is, of course, a way to solve these problems or solve at least part of them, which is go get my book. Most businesses fail in the first 5 minutes. It just takes them 3 to 5 years to realize it, Position to Win. Check it out. It is all about how to use positioning in today's market, in today's world. You can pick it up physically at positiontowinbook.com, positiontowinbook.com. Ask to have it autographed, and I will do that and inscribe it with something. And then you can get it physically at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, wherever books are sold. You can go ask for it, and you can get them to order it, or you can go and get it digitally at Amazon Kindle, Barnes & Noble Nook, or Apple iBooks. So you can check that out right there. And then, of course, if you're there at Amazon, you might want to check out Remote Work for Another World. Not another world, a better world. Maybe we should have it as another world, because now Elon's talking about going to Mars. Why not do that? We'll have another world. That's a good idea. Let's do that, especially since we're, driving electric pickups and everything. But also, while you're there, you might check out and pick up a Raging Verbalist mug. Who doesn't want to rage a little bit? And the Raging Verbalist mug is the perfect way to do it. All right, Sandra, what is next as we talk about the Slate EV pickup?
All right, so would you buy one or put in a reservation for one?
Well, the reservation is a whopping $50, and it appears, and I've read it. I haven't put one in yet, but I think for $50, I'm going to probably play customer and see what it's like. They're not going to deliver them until late in 26, and they're getting quite a few reservations. And again, I wonder if they're going to actually have a lot of people racing to buy these. Maybe they will. Production is always tough. That's what kills all of these EV manufacturers, is they really can't end up building them the way they think they can. So my answer is, yeah, I'll probably put that in. But Sandra, how about you? I mean, you're there in pickup country, right? I mean, Omaha, Nebraska. I mean, pickup. I mean, in Texas, the Suburban is the national bird there. But that's what. How about Omaha? Are you going to be buying a Slate?
I personally wouldn't. I mean, if you were to get one here, you could because there is charging stations available here and that sort of thing. But for me personally, no. We're thinking maybe someday getting a camper and doing, more hauling, and then my parents' family farm if I were to help with anything there. I don't think it has big towing capacity for a trailer full of cattle. And the range as well. I would need more range to go back and forth, even just to see families. So it's a no for me, just, use case, but I like the customization options. I think that's pretty cool. That it's in it all. So yeah, maybe
Okay,
someday. Never say never, right?
never say never.
Circumstances change. There you go. But I have a friend that's, interested because it works better for his use case. So there you go.
There you go. All right, what's next?
All right. So from a marketing standpoint, what are the positives?
Well, the biggest positive is that you can buy the strip down. By the way, it has no big giant screen, right? Because every EV manufacturer on the planet is building bigger and bigger screens. So it has a little baby tiny screen. And if you want to have like an entertainment system, you bring your phone or your tablet and you plug it in, and in fact, they're selling a Bluetooth speaker as if you couldn't find one on your own, but they have a Bluetooth speaker that says Slate on it, and you could do that. So I think customization is a clever marketing aspect. In fact, you can go from pickup and then you can buy one of two optional back covers. I mean, I would call them like a camper shell. Probably that is like the uncoolest way to call them today. People say, ooh, but you can convert it into like a fastback SUV or a full, squared off SUV, and you get to bolt in the seats yourself. They're also making it where all of the accessories that you can want to build, they will have the files available so you can then download them in 3D print all kinds of doodahs and plastic stuff. And my guess is you're going to see forums where people are sharing ideas and saying, here's a cool thing that I did, and here's something that I put together. And so I think we're going to see lots of customization. It's designed to be wrapped. Now, I always find it interesting because people will tell me, well, look, wrapping is better than painting because in the end you can just peel it off. But then when I found out that it would cost you somewhere between $1,500 and $2,500 to wrap it, I went, and that's better than painting. But it was designed to be wrapped, and it's also designed to be taken apart, so you can do all kinds of crazy things. So I think from a marketing standpoint, they'll get people in. The real question is if you look at any market and there was 1,000 individual buying a truck, maybe 200 will get serious about buying accessories, because any vehicle out there, you can buy lots and lots of accessories. And I can tell you, having been to the SEMA Automotive Show in Vegas, huge show, they're selling lots of different things for lots of different vehicles. But the number of people who truly customize the vehicle, any kind of vehicle, is a small number.
And will it be successful in the market?
I think it's going to be a challenge from one point, is that a Ford Maverick, which is more established, is a four-door pickup. So if you have kids, where are they going to sit? I mean, and now that you can't just toss them in the back and have them bounce around and tether them like you tether tether your German Shepherd to the back of the truck. So, that's not cool anymore. I think that it's going to be a tough one. The size of it, and they picked the size of a Toyota SR5 from decades ago as kind of their template. And though that was a very popular truck, even those Toyotas, they ended up getting super cabs and extended cabs and on and on. So, and the price point is going to be a problem because if you're going to sell something at, let's say, $30,000, how do you get to a large enough scale? Because that's the only way they make money on smaller vehicles, and they struggle anyway, is you have to build lots of them. And will they be able to find 500,000 people a year who want to spend money on this truck? Now, I don't know what their success points are, but I can tell you that most of the car companies that have started since, and this is going back away since World War II, at least in the US, almost all of those car companies have failed miserably, including, General Motors spending billions of dollars to try to hoist up a company called Saturn. And well, all I can tell you is it turned out to be a gaseous car and a gaseous power planet. So there you go.
So, what lessons can you learn if you're an entrepreneur, business owner, or in sales and marketing?
This is a great case study. Somebody has spent a lot of money putting it together. Their website is superb. How everything they've communicated was great. They went out and got a lot of internet influencers. That's how I ended up stumbling upon it. And then I found a lot of their material. So I think that they've done it the big bucks right way. So my suggestion is if you're in marketing or sales or an entrepreneur or business owner is to study what the folks at Slate are doing. What are some of the lessons? What are they doing well? What are they doing poorly? And learn from that, because this is a great way to capture and get marketing lessons from a market and see how it works out. They may be successful. We don't know. There's always a reality that hits people. Niche vehicles like the rebirth of the Volkswagen Beetle had some pretty decent success going in. And well, turned out it wasn't as fun as the original Beetle, and it went bye-bye. Chrysler did the same thing with the thing called the PT Cruiser, which was basically a remodeled, and rebodied small car. Had great success. They were clubs, all of that. Yeah, you can't find one now except on a really junky used car lot. So go out there and learn as much as you can from it, because somebody is spending the money, and I think you'll learn some great lessons. Let me close out by saying that the Slate EV truck, I applaud them for being innovative. It looks different. They're going their own way. And they're basically saying somewhere, someplace, people just need a pickup. And maybe that's our market, and that's where it needs to go. I wish them success. I hope they do well. I am probably going to just drop the $50. I'll tell everybody here down the road if I actually do it, because I do want to play customer and see how well they do and see if they actually hold up on the high level of quality that they're showing now in their marketing materials. So for myself, John Paul Mendocha, Dr. Speed Selling, and the ever lovely Sandra, this has been the Raging Verbalist number 279. And all I can say is go check out Slate Auto and check out and see what you think. Drop some comments, tell us what you think. See you next week on the Raging Verbalist.